We're here with.
Cynthia Gray.
So, Cynthia, tell us about your movie.
My movie is Yes Mother. I co-directed, co-starred, wrote it, and did the music for it, which I've never done. And it is about a woman who you think has a very overbearing mother, but as it goes on, you realize things are not quite what they seem, and she is fighting desperately to escape. And it's actually really, really fun to shoot because I play the daughter, and the woman who plays Mother, who's this very horrifying villain, was played by my actual mom.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So tell us, where did it take place?
It actually was shot in my parents' kitchen, but we green screened all of it. So every single room is just rendered in post because we didn't have quite the right setting that actually fit the story. So yeah, it was a lot of post-production, a lot more than we imagined.
What do you want to tell the world about your film?
Ooh, gosh. I guess I would like to tell them that this, after getting a lot of really good feedback for the short, is now going to be expanded into a feature.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
So tell us your name.
Kaya Tone.
Nice to meet you. And tell us about your film.
So my film is about two sisters based in Boulder, Colorado, in the mountains outside Boulder, Colorado, and they have to sort of come to this conclusion about whether they're going to stay or leave their homeland, and one of the girls goes on this trippy journey into the astral plane and has to face this monster creature to see if she should stay or go.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah. So where did you film this?
In Colorado, and where I'm from, on my home property and the woods surrounding it. So where I grew up and played as a kid. So it was fun.
Very nice. So what do you want your audience to know about the film? Tell the world what you'd like them to know about it.
Well, I think the big message for me behind it is it's an environmental film. At the core, underneath all the monsters and all the weird stuff, it's really about the importance of specifically water and water rights, and how important access to clean water is, and protecting that, and that's sort of the core theme of it, as well as sisterhood and the importance of friendship and all those normal things. But it was a fun passion piece. The whole thing was made with love behind the camera and in front of the camera, so it was great.
Very interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we watched this movie, Film Instincts, inside. We were talking about it. A lot of themes you touched on, a lot of relevant issues, unfortunately, that female identifying people have to go through, right? And it kind of helps, as a straight man, I can see the perspective, and it's really interesting to see the other side of that. What sort of things, we classify this as horror, and I think it is, absolutely. What sort of influences, what kind of horror did you watch growing up? What influenced some of these things?
Yeah, I think growing up, I didn't watch a lot of horror, but I wrote a lot of horror. I wrote a lot of horror short stories, and I always found it a great way to express certain topics and talk about trauma, especially, and things that we find taboo. One of my favorite horror films is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and I think that's what inspired me to take a German expressionism type of style to this film. But yeah, I think that the horror genre has such a wide spectrum and width that you can do a lot of things with it. It could be comedic, could be disturbing, it could be a heightened reality kind of horror, which is what Instincts is.
That's amazing. And just the themes of the film itself, right? You mentioned text messages you received from people that you collected, right? Women getting home safely, and it's a real thing. I mean, I know I text my partner all the time, "Are you home safe? Did you make it?" What are some things that I think you would advise women to do to protect themselves, and then for people around them who love them and care for them, who want them to be safe? What are some advice? What can we offer them?
Yeah, I think it's sad that we have to talk about the tools that we have to provide each other in order to survive, because we shouldn't even be talking about that in the first place. We should be able to live and do the normal things that people do. So walk back home at night safely and not having to think about the next corner I'm gonna take, the subway, if it's safe or not. But I guess at the end of the day in the film, it proves that we have a system of support as women, because in the film, the main character gives the answers of these riddles that she is asked by these predatory animal-headed people to her friend, and the chain keeps going, or the ball keeps rolling, and so it's really to prove that we as women should be always supportive of each other, and we should continue doing that. But also it is to raise awareness of the things that we have to go through. So I'm really hoping that at one point I don't have to, talk about what we can do in order to survive, because we should just live a normal life.
That's very well said. The creative choice for the animal masks, I'm sure you get this question all the time. You touched about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you go into a little bit detail where that came from?
Yeah, sure. I think that at the end of the day, I was trying to communicate this predatory behavior and aspect, and how bizarre the whole situation is. And I think having these actors wear these masks, whether it's a lion, a wolf, or a fox, etc., it really shows the predatory nature that these checkpoints are, and it also to show the bizarreness of the situations that we find ourselves in. So it was inspired by that.
Amazing. And what are you working on now? What can we look forward to seeing from you, and what's next?
Sure. Right now I'm working on my first feature film. It's a coming-of-age drama about two high school best friends that race against time to document some of the old neighborhoods in their area before they're demolished because of gentrification. It's been inspired by the events leading to the World Cup in Qatar, where I grew up. And it will be the first feature film by a woman in Qatar. So I'm hoping to get financing for it, and that's where I am right now. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was great. Really enjoyed it, and looking forward to everything you come out with next.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Sure, absolutely.